Hey, internets, we're back. Woo! It's Monday night, and that can only mean one thing
Mm.
on the Wily Hobbit Twitch channel. It is, what is it? Mysteries in the Dalelands. I had a little brain fart right there, so yeah, good. It's not been a long day of work at all, no. So, welcome. Thanks for hanging out. I am Scott, also known on the Twitches and Twitters as Wily Hobbit. I'm your host and dungeon master tonight, so I'll be hanging out with the NPCs and the monsters and all those folks. So let's go around the table here, the virtual table, and meet our players. Let's start as politely as we may by beginning with ladies first.
Uh, Hi, I'm Paige. I'm going to be playing Calavera. She is a Fire Genasi Grave Cleric. She's having a
Nice.
very bad day so far.
It's been stressful, hasn't it? Yeah, good. Let's go right
A little.
beneath Calavera there to Rue.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrew, aka Fellowship of the Tables, and tonight I am playing Rue Shahar, the party's sneaky rogue.
Sneaky rogue. Very nice. Okay, and then we'll go over here to the bottom corner. Algernon. Al.
Hi, everybody. I'm Manny at Growed Up Geek on the social medias. And tonight I'm playing Algernon Altano, a divination wizard, foreign studies student who definitely should be getting some advanced credits for what he has achieved thus far
Sure. Yeah. I like to think of advanced credits as
with lab credits.
still alive. Yeah, and we'll go with that. And then finally, to round out our panel this evening, Gears.
Hey, I'm Dave. Hey Wilson on the social medias. I'm playing Gears, the Warforged fighter.
All right, everybody's
Open
level
doors.
three, excuse me, two. I said that wrong. Two. And you can see the artwork
Oh, you
scrolling
can level up to 3? I'm
across.
fine with that.
No, not just yet. But you can see the artwork scrolling there from our good friend Rakole, and he, I believe, is in chat tonight. So, thanks for the great artwork. Ronvin is out sick this evening, and it's quite possible that Fragile may be able to catch up with us later in the evening once she finishes up with her work. So, this is a currently it's a published module, but it's really kind of a homebrewed campaign set in the Dalelands and Forgotten Realms in 1492. We're actually on the calendar. It's 23 Flame Rule. It's very very late. It's actually probably 24 Flame Rule now. You entered into the Standing Stones area. It had gotten dark in the evening, and now you've been underground for a while. The party is inside the Temple of the Scale, which is rumored or legends say that it's was once the home or the worship area of a circle of druids who apparently worshipped dragons. They were headed up here to try to kind of solve a little bit of a mystery, a crime, if you will, and find a gentleman named Spurnick, who is a member of this cult of the dragon. And he and an individual had stolen some books from a library in Dagger Falls, and the party has tracked him up here and found him in this Temple of the Scale. Um, Looks like maybe we lost somebody. I'm just going to keep yammering. Yeah, we did, but they'll be back, I'm sure. Looks like Manny dropped. Um, at any rate, um, they found Spurnick in this temple. They have dealt with a few waves of zombies, undead, if you will. And so that's been a little bit of a challenge for them getting started. But so far, they're still alive. They've captured Spurnick, and it turns out that the reason Spurnick was in this Temple of the Scale and why they stole the books is this cult of the dragon is trying to find an artifact, an old ancient relic that they suspect might even be more hope than suspect, but they're hoping this artifact is in the Temple of the Scale, um, and it's supposed to be something to do with dragons, maybe controlling dragons. Um, and so the party is now kind of deep in the Temple of the Scale. They've kind of debated whether or not they should just get out of there because they have what they came for in the person of Spurnick. And they decided, or maybe not they, but he, Algernon, decided to go ahead and see if he could open this door. The door I'm speaking of is at the very end of this very dark chamber, and the only light that's been in here is the light that the party has brought with themselves, with the exception of the area where they are now. There were some torches there where they captured Spurnik. They've fought off some kobolds, but they're in this. It's a kind of a outer chamber to this reliquary. On each corner of this outer chamber is a different shrine to a color of dragon. There was a shrine to a black dragon, and a shrine to a blue dragon, a shrine to a white dragon, and a shrine to a red dragon. And welcome back, Algernon. And the shrines each contained a key colored to the shrine of that particular dragon. And so Al had all four of the keys, red, white, green, and black, and he decided it would be a really good idea to fit the keys into this big, ornate, red metal door. There was this depression in the door, and it's the door itself is kind of embossed with this image of this rearing red dragon, and the dragon had an amulet around its neck, and the centerpiece is where that depression is in the door. The centerpiece of that amulet appeared to be missing, and so there was a little bit of debate amongst the party as to whether or not they should get out of here or see if they can open this door. And Algernon decided to go ahead and try to fit these keys in here. And so he's done so. And as he fit the keys in the door, this is where we're going to pick up our session. And so, as I started to describe last time, you hear this grinding, grating of metal, and the door kind of shudders a little bit and starts to lower into the floor. And you see above it outlined some smoke kind of wafts out above the top of the door. And you see this orangish, faint glow of reddish. And behind it you see bright red and orange tiles in the space beyond this doorway. And as the door slowly lowers into the floor, you smell some sort of like incense. The smoke is kind of scented, and it just kind of wafts out into the room. And as the door disappears into the floor, you see, again, these brilliant red and orange tiles covering the walls of the room. They're very, very bright. And there's some torchlight in there that's kind of reflecting off of these tiles. And it's kind of, bedazzling, if you will. It's just so bright compared to the darkness and the dim gloom of this underground temple to the dragons. And what's really just grabs your attention is this thing floating kind of lazily in the air right in the middle of the room. And the room itself is about 40 feet deep. It's about 25 feet wide. And the altar is kind of centered in the room, and floating above it is this, it's like a large shield almost, and it looks like it's made of polished red metal. What would you like to do? It's just kind of floating there.
I'm going to peer from behind and around Gears to make sure that everything is safe inside the room. And I guess
How big's the room?
It's
40 by something.
it's about 30 wide. There's stairs descending down about 5 feet into it. It's a little bit sunken, and it's about 40 deep. The altar is maybe at about 30 feet. Looks like maybe there's a little space behind the altar, and this red sort of shield-looking thing is just floating. Looks like it's polished red metal, and it's kind of floating above the red altar, the red stone altar.
Gears will pick up the glaive and move in slowly, carefully, prodding the floor, see if there's any traps or anything.
Okay. The floor
I'm
is
gonna
the
go
same
right
stone.
behind Gears.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Same stone floor that you've grown accustomed to here in this. It smells old and musty, and you get the smell of incense. And the kind of the back end of the room is sort of shadowy. It's kind of tough. There's a couple of torches on sconces in the front corners of the room. That by the time they the back of the room isn't fully lit. It's kind of hard to see.
All right. Slowly moving in, looking for any traps or, well, any creatures that might be in here. If there's any, there's got to be something because someone's got to keep those torches lit.
Would you make a perception roll for me, Gears? One of the cool things to tell our newer visitors here that happy to see you take 20 in the Applied Karma. We use real dice, no roll 20. It's full theater to the mind. Max damage plus your mods, and then roll again if you crit. So just good old classic D&D. Thanks for stopping by. Take 20. All right, go ahead, Gears.
19.
Okay, so you notice as you get closer, you might be 10 feet into the room. You can see now that it looks like the this metal... again, it's the size of a large shield, but it's not precisely shield-shaped. But it looks like it might be even inscribed with some runes or something. And then you hear this cold, very distant voice. Turn from your path, mortals, lest you forfeit your lives. It's coming from the back of the room.
That's
The
fine. I
unlit
can
back of
fix
the room.
that.
What's that?
The unlit back of the room. Like
The darker,
darkness.
shadowy, yes. The unlit. Isn't that convenient? Back of the room, yes.
I think by this point, Galavera lets the others go down, and then she just kind of has this just huge sigh that comes straight from the soul. She doesn't want to do this, and she's going to go down and stay at the bottom of the steps just to watch, so she can stop anyone from dying if they do. Should we assume that the two that are not with us will be watching Spurnick?
Yeah.
I would not leave Spurnick with Fragile at this point.
Ronwin's back there.
Ronvin
Ronvin's
would
back
cancel
there.
out for Geely, I think.
I wouldn't trust Ronvin to stop Fragile. So
Virgilia will probably be coming down with us because she wanted to see what was down here. I think I would trust Ronvin with Spurnick.
True.
Maybe because I don't want Calavera to be standing guard up there this whole session.
I'm gonna take some rope and tie the ropes that have Spurnick tied up. I'm gonna tie a lead from that to my belt or something, so
Okay.
that I have my hands free.
Sure.
And I'm gonna hang back somewhat, but I'm gonna keep him with me, and I'm gonna have my bow out.
Okay. Yeah, you've basically got him, bound ankles and wrists, almost kind of hogtied, because then you loop some line through that and over to your belt. I'm assuming you're going to give it plenty of length, so you're not dragging him. But if he were to somehow try to leave, you would feel it. Yeah. Okay. Very well. So, Gears and Algernon, Rue, and Calavera, as you enter this space and come down the steps and advance, this form kind of moves, steps forward and around from behind the altar, and it's wearing very dark studded leather armor. It's holding a long sword. It has these skulls, sort of shoulder, look like skulls almost. It has a longbow on its back with a quiver of arrows. Just absolutely shocking white hair, and instead of a face, it's a skull. And the eye sockets are big and dark. What are you doing in the reliquary? And it stands kind of beside the altar. So the thing that's floating up there is above the altar. And you're probably 20 feet or so from this creature.
I've got an arrow knocked. I'm not quite pointing it at the creature, but very close to it.
Okay.
And I'm holding an action to shoot at it if it does anything threatening.
Al's going to start to back up. I don't want to be 20 feet from anything. Um, so yeah, I'm just going to kind of stop my progress and start to hang back just in case. Um, I'm going to yell at it. Like, who are you?
I am Skovach, Scalebinder. What are you doing here? Why'd you disturb the reliquary?
Answer this. Um,
Oh, well, Algernon, why do we disturb the reliquary? Why do we disturb the reliquary?
For money's probably not the answer. um,
That's hilarious.
I mean, it's the truth.
like, I don't think that
Calvary
guy's
is
gonna buy
kind.
this.
Hop
Al
between,
completely-
this is horrifying, and I told you so.
Al, completely unprepared to have an answer for this, obviously stumbles. What are you doing here?
I'm sorry, what did you say? I didn't catch that.
Al asked what the creature's doing there. It's all he could come up with. He was completely unprepared for that question.
I belong here. The relic.
Whisper. Oh, sorry.
The relic is not to be disturbed, lest you forfeit your lives.
Does he
Oh,
seem to be
whisper.
making like a threatening action, like stance? Just
He's standing like he's ready to be, if something should break out, he's in kind of a ready, he has his sword drawn. He's got, like spiked gauntlets, hard leather, studded like the armor. It's all very dark. Yep.
I'm gonna turn to Spurnick. Do you know this name, Skovach?
He
Wait,
kind
why
of
do I think
he
about
kind of leans in and looks, and his eyes are just really big, and he's just
Wiggles
like
over.
he's like, and he just kind of puts his head down.
Great, thanks.
so it's bad. Okay, got it. Thanks, buddy.
A puddle appears where Spurnick is sitting, and he kind of just deeply and quietly sobs.
At least one
Imagine
of us has
I'm like right
prestidigitation.
inside. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I imagine I'm like right inside the door, and I've kept him right outside the door.
Okay.
What are we doing, Al?
Tell us about the artifact. And I'm gonna, really start to step away and kind of not make any threatening wizardy moves. I want to genuinely know what this thing is, and if it's something I could perfectly content leaving be, then I'll leave him doing business.
You should be leaving it to be anyway.
I'm saying I don't like grave robbing.
He steps forward. This is the temple of the scale. Above is the circle of the scale. I am the scale binder. We are a sect of druids who worship the dragons. With this relic, I can subvert the will of a dragon with nothing but the sound of my voice. He kind of stops and regards you. Takes another step forward. Not like he's trying to attack, but just stepping forward. We hope to lure a dragon here to our temple in hopes of binding it to our will. Unfortunately, Scoreworks tricked us with legions of kobolds and stormed the temple. This was centuries ago. And so I bound myself here to defend the relic. It is not to be disturbed.
The
So
books.
is your
Go ahead.
go ahead. I was going
The
to say, so is you go ahead.
yeah.
Go page.
I was going to ask him. So then is the plan just to stay here with the artifact forever?
Yes.
That sounds
It is
like
not to be disturbed. You should leave and close the door.
we should leave.
Remove the keys.
In the books that we found at the Lord's house, one of them was about this sect of druids. Yes,
Mhm.
there's something in the book that would give me whether they were viewed positively, like are these altruistic people who want to bring dragons to help people, or if they're you know dominating dragons for obvious reasons.
It was more the reference to the circle of the scale from the books, the lore in the books was more vague, legendary. It didn't give you like a paragraph with, footnotes and bibliography and references. And, it wasn't like a Wikipedia description. It was very lore, once upon a time, rumored sect of mysterious druids who worship dragons.
What does it's just how many more of you are there?
He kind of lifts his hand and he's got these clawed fingers and he kind of makes this motion from behind him. And out of the shadows,
Oh shit.
step these. There's two of them. They're almost ashen white, very lean, muscular, probably 6'4", 6'5", just with tattered shreds of clothing, wisps of clothing, fangs, pointed ears, very long serpentine tongue, huge long claws, and they step forward and they click their claws together and they look at Skovach in this almost subservient hissing. Let me see. You get this absolute, like, almost turn your stomach smell starts wafting as these things have come closer. It's like, this horrible, acrid, charnel, dead flesh stench. You have to almost, turn your head and cover your mouth. Two of my druids.
We're here because we caught wind of a plot to come and steal this artifact. We don't think it should be stolen.
No one
but we
will
want to
steal
make sure that it's safe.
the scale of Tiamat. You do not belong here.
I don't think we should be leaving.
I was beginning to agree. Yeah. Very well. I suppose I shall leave you to your oath. And legit, Al's gonna. Yeah, no. I saw what was behind the door. I'm out. We're good. I'm gonna leave this thing here.
Do you know if there's a way to destroy the key so no one can open the door to come try to steal the scale, which they definitely will not do?
At best, I say we take the keys with us.
But if we can destroy them, then we don't need
If
to
we
take
can,
them.
yes. If we can find somebody who can, maybe even one at a time.
Replace each key in its shrine.
Small problem.
It wasn't. If we were able to take them out of the shrine, so other people may be able to. So, is there a way for us to destroy them or put them in a better shrine?
Kind of regards you. You should replace the keys.
Okay. No alternate. Okay.
Is there an obvious mechanism to close the door on this side? Because if I recall, the door sank into the ground.
Mhm.
So getting the keys back, that means that they're in the ground right now.
Yes.
We need the door to reset.
The door will close once you exit the chamber, which I suggest you do. He kind of steps forward, clenching his sword, not making a move to anyone, but I grow tired of
Gears
your
starts backing
conversation. And these two
Gears starts
abominations hiss. Spittle comes out, the tongues loll out and flicker. I mean, these things are horrific looking. Hairless, grotesque. The features, you know, the arms are too long. The claws are even way too much longer than the arms.
Well, can we go? I very much do not want to be here anymore. Can we just go?
Waiting for Al.
Yeah, Gears is just backing out at this point.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
like I said,
We're
I'm
backing
good.
out.
We're out? Okay, we're out.
So
Yeah, I'm good, man.
the only thing I have a question about is how Fragile would have reacted to this encounter
Oh my god.
and her love of undead.
Oh no, that would have been a fight, huh?
Are they
Um,
undead?
They
Is this-
seem to be. The guy's got a skull for a head.
Okay.
Feel
all right.
pretty undead.
Yeah, you didn't see any indication of eyeballs in any of these things. You know, the two very ashen white things are, you know, partially like they've had necrotic damage or they're partially decomposed. They don't look. They look unreal. You know, they just yeah. And the malevolence that's just oozing from these beings. Yeah.
So how do you want to handle this, Scott? Do you think Fragile would just let it go?
I think she would recognize that she's probably better off letting these things get resealed.
Okay.
She has a rashness to her, but she knows her patron wouldn't want her to sacrifice herself. Like, she's got a better calling than just wading into battle with something that could very well. But you can tell Fragile's like, you know, she's clenching her weapon and she's on edge. And
Come on, girl, we're leaving.
We'll back out and let the door reset.
it's very easy to tell that these two other creatures are subservient to Skovach. As soon as you begin to retreat, they begin to retreat back into the darkness, and Skovach just stands there, kind of in front of the altar now, with this big scale floating in the air above and behind it. And as you go back up the stairs and out into the room, you're not out very long when that, you know, that grating and grinding, the door slowly begins to reseal.
As the door starts to close, I just yell back into the room, "Y'all were lovely hosts. Have a great day."
No,
Hey.
no response.
How sturdy does that door look? Like, how thick is the metal? I assume it's a solid plate.
Yeah, it's plate. I mean, it's not like a tinfoil door or like, remember those metal sheds that, you know, in the 70s with the sliding doors? Yeah, it's like a vault door. You know, it's serious. You know, there's probably a good inch of some type of metal there. Yeah.
Okay.
And it acts and sounds like it probably hasn't been opened in a few centuries. You know, it's been there a while.
Yeah, that in and of itself is not promising.
And- The door finally just gets all the way up and seals against the ceiling. The smoke just kind of filters off and dissipates. You can still smell very faintly the stench of the creatures, the incense that was burning, the smell of the torches that are in the room that you're in. What do you do? You're in this octagonal room with the 4 shrines.
Gears will take the keys out of the locking mechanism.
Okay.
We're leaving with those keys.
All right, cool. I'm with you.
We cannot leave these behind.
Oh no, you got those out too easily.
We're all on board with this. Awesome.
Yeah, no.
Gears will test the door with the keys out to see if it can be pushed down
Okay.
to be opened.
Yeah, roll strength.
Okay. Plus 4. 19.
Okay. Yeah, so you heft with all of your might. Not a single smidgen of movement.
Okay, that's good. I'm just trying to remember. Does anyone in the party have like stoneworking?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
This is what Gears will say. I think that we should collapse these tunnels and leave.
But, I mean, it would make it harder to come in here.
Much harder. It's needed to be.
And then just kind of take these and maybe scatter them and throw them places that people would not find them.
Or destroy them.
Or destroy them. Either works. Just throw them and then maybe take the pieces and put them where people cannot find them.
Yes, agreed. This is possibly too dangerous to have available to others. If Spurnick was capable of coming here, others may come. We need to seal this area.
Don't understand why they thought it was a good idea to keep the keys right next to the lock that they unlock.
It looks like it's a ceremony, sort of. I don't know.
Indeed, and all the traps have been discovered and undone. There are no traps to dissuade. They've all been triggered. We cannot allow this to continue. Sadly, at second level, I don't think many of us have the ability to knock down a whole building.
No, I don't. I mean, if the building has already taken damage, Toll the Dead will do a D12 instead of a D8.
Creatures.
The best I could do is try to knock over like a pillar.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That room with the 3 pillars in it's probably the weakest point. But
Can I cast Mending but backwards?
Unmending? How about Shatter?
I don't have Shatter.
You do recall up at the surface when you were waylaid by the kobolds, in that druidic circle of stones, there was, the entrance to this had been excavated, dug out. There was rubble, all that crap piled around the entrance, if you remember that. It wasn't like a front door to the temple above ground. Spurnick and his kobolds had to really dig and find the entrance to this thing. So there is all of that stone and rock and rubble up there.
yeah, those standing stones that were around, as much as it may be a desecration to the whole thing, are any of them possibly able to be knocked down as well to cover this?
You'll have to go up and see. I do know that they're. I'm trying to remember how far it was across the circle. Let me get that map. I think you'd have to move them.
If I recall, they're fairly large.
Oh yeah, they're like 20 feet tall. You'd have to move them across, drag them across the ground. We're talking.
But also, if we
probably
move
block and
them or
tackle.
whatever, and they're no longer recognized.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, also, if we move them and stuff, that might make this area not recognizable as what people are looking for, because they're looking for that circle.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they are 60 feet across, so they are 30 feet from the excavated opening in the earth. So with a 20-foot stone, if you're able to somehow tip it inward, you'd still have to move it a good 10 feet to get it to the edge of that opening. So you're talking, horsepower, block and tackle. You would need a pretty serious rigging operation to get that stuff moving.
A donkey, perhaps?
Because
donkey?
those stones
One donkey.
are 20,
One donkey and 3 sheep.
20 feet high. I mean, these things are serious stones. You don't know how far in the ground they are.
I did forget, we do have the 3 sheep. That can add some pulling power.
I mean, what? Getting it, probably snapping it at its base is the hard part. If you can break it, I imagine dragging it's going to be easier. Yeah?
I don't know.
We can find out.
I mean, I like this plan. If anybody else has no other ways to physically knock down the building, then the best we could do is put something heavy on top of it.
I mean, there might be other more loose rocks around rather than the giant pillars.
Go big or go home.
There were boulders strewn about here and there.
Okay. I'll work with those.
Yeah.
But he did say go big or go home.
I mean, those standing stones are probably 4 feet thick and 20 feet high. I don't know, what my geometry and the density, specific gravity of, granite or whatever, but those suckers you're talking tons. What those things weigh.
Yeah. No, we're not going to be able to.
Sans magic, you're probably not moving those. I mean, if you want to go up there and push on them and stuff for dramatic effect, you are welcome to do so.
I was gonna let Clover see what Clover was about.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
Come on, girl, get
It's
it.
awesome.
All right. So what about internally though? Inside that main chamber, I don't suppose those pillars look like they could be knocked out with some effort either, could they?
They're pretty big around. They're probably about 3 feet around. They're stone. Remember, they were carved with the jewels, kind of corresponding to the colors of the dragons. They looked like at one point they had been painted, but the paint is very faded. They're carved in the form of dragons, like the forearms are holding up the ceiling. And there was a number of gemstones in each. There was a pair for each color, so that would be a total of 30 gemstones, right?
So, time to leave. We must seal this.
That is probably a good idea.
So gears will make their way up and out and take stock of the situation above ground. And we'll probably wait until morning to get a better sight on what large rubble there is to just basically start pouring down this entryway into this dungeon and seal it up as well as they can.
Okay.
Gears is going topside.
What are the rest of you doing? If you recall, as you go...
I think it's nighttime, right?
Oh, it's nighttime. Yeah. It's wee hours of the nighttime. Yeah, it's probably like 2 a.m. It's late or early. The long room, about 70 foot long with the pillars. If you recall, there are 2 sets of doors, one on each side. And then you can go all the way through, back up the stairs and out.
That's where Gears is going. Straight up the stairs now. Start looking for.
Again, it's black as pitch in here. Your torchlight catches the glint of the shine of the dark eyes of the black dragon, the gems, the blue eyes, the green eyes, the red eyes, the clear eyes. As you make your way back through this dark, great chamber, looks again like it was some great banquet hall, dining hall. There's rotted, broken pieces of wood, the remnants of chairs and tables and things strewn about.
I'll follow Gears out with
We're
Spernick
taking
with
Spernick,
me.
yeah.
Yeah, Al's leaving. We're getting out of here. I'm good.
Yeah.
Fragile follows closely.
Gears, you think it's safe enough to camp here for tonight?
We'll make it safe. Start scouting the area for firewood.
Okay.
A decent place to set up camp.
Yeah, you if you recall, you're a couple of miles up into the stony, rocky foothills of the Dragonspire Peaks. Or excuse me, Dragonspine Mountains, wrong game.
The show.
So you can find dead timber here and there. The area you're in is a huge clearing from any woods or anything. There are boulders and of various sizes strewn about. There is one of the standing stones that is no longer standing. It was tipped, and it is actually tipped outward, and it's cracked in places and broken. And then there's just the rocks and boulders strewn about. It's pretty dark out.
So we'll set up a small camp and set watch and take a rest.
Probably setting up like next to one of the big boulders or something, so we have like.
Yeah.
We're kind of blocked on the one side.
Back to the wall.
Yep.
While we're setting up camp, I would like to try to kind of talk to Spernick and just kind of make conversation with him, try to get him out of this sort of fugue state that he's in, and like, okay, we're safe now, we're out of there. Try to have some semblance of rational conversation with
Okay.
him. Is he at all responsive?
Yeah, he doesn't say anything as you're coming out of the temple, and he's pretty despondent. But yeah, if you want to talk to him, talk away.
Yeah, I think I would just look. I don't know what's waiting for you back in Dagger Falls, but I'm gonna do what I can to make sure that you're treated reasonably till we get there.
You should let me go then. That'd be the best thing. Just like you never saw me here. Like it's almost like he started playing that tape again. Remember, he was kind of like, just let me go. Just let me get out of here. I'm already a dead man. The cult, they're gonna kill me. I just have to get away while I can.
What made you join that cult?
He kind of
What are you thinking?
looks off in the distance. Well, I mean, they paid well, and I learned a lot. And like who doesn't want to control dragons? Or yeah.
I don't. Why?
I mean,
why do you want to control dragons?
Well, I mean, think what it could do for you. It could all the treasure you could get, and nobody would, hassle you if you had a dragon on your side. They're like the most powerful thing there is.
Al's going to come over and just kind of join Rue, but not say anything. Just kind of listen in on the conversation.
You were in it for the fun, for the power of it all.
Money. And they're good to me. And Tybeam and me were best friends. We didn't mean to kill anybody. I didn't kill anybody. We just took the books. That was our job. Take the books, find the scale, and get it.
Did you and Ty Beam join together?
We're in the cult together.
The cult?
Yeah. That's where I met him.
Yeah, did you join at the same time?
No, that's where I met him. As Rue and Spurnick are chatting, what are you all doing? Fragile is sitting listening intently, and she is eyeing Spurnick thoughtfully, kind of. And she'll listen, and then she'll kind of gaze, lay back, maybe even hum a tune. What are the rest of you up to?
Through this, as Spurnick's dialogue with Rue goes on, and he gets more excited about power and the notion of controlling dragons, Gears will stop by. They're patrolling and potentially looking for rocks to sort of push around the group to give them a bit more cover.
Mm-hmm.
They'll squat down right in front of Spurnick, take him by the scruff of the front of his cloak.
His eyes get really big, and he kind of leans back. What? Who are you?
No one controls dragons. That is not possible.
No, the relic thing, the
Just
scale.
gets up and walks away.
The scale. I'm telling you.
Lies.
The scale.
Lies.
You heard what that Skovach thing said. He's a scalebinder. He would know. He kind of looks at you like you're some kind of dumbass.
He isn't undead. And
Well.
Gears just moves on and continues with his work. With their work, rather.
All those things in there are the undead. It's the druids. He controls them all.
Gears has their own view of power.
Al's gonna kind of speaks Draconic, so I'm just gonna like kind of scream something at him in Draconic to see if he reacts in any kind of way like he understood me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
He snaps his head and looks over at you and tilts his head. I'm not sure what you said, so I don't know how to react. He just kind of looks at you curiously.
Do you know you were being used?
I had a job to do. That's my job. I'm in the cult. We have a mission. That's my job. Now I've failed. I mean, Dagger Falls is probably the best place for me. Maybe they'll keep me safe there from the cult. I still think you should let me go, though.
We are not to make that determination.
But I mean, if you didn't find me, and he kind of winks, they never know. If I can go now, I can get out of here.
Get some sleep, Spurnick. We got a lot of walking to do tomorrow.
Listen to my friend and get some sleep. If you feel safest in Dagger Falls, then you will be there soon enough. And Al gets up and kind of makes himself comfortable, like like he's going to sleep. Or I guess we got to decide watch.
Fragile stands and goes to wherever Gears is. These undead are bad here. We need to somehow end them or end this or seal it, but they cannot be permitted to bring their evil into the world.
Seal this in the morning.
I fear they are more than we can handle ourselves, but we can't take the chance that something can free them or they can free themselves. I think
that's why we are taking the keys.
That's Skovach.
We'll seal the tomb.
That's Skovach. I think that Skovach is the center of all of this. That thing, like, I think, did you see how those other two, they were like his slaves, and he's called them his druids. She rolled really high on her religion check. We had these can't be. Wish the Raven Queen would bestow upon me the strength and the power needed to banish this darkness, but I fear I cannot do so. And she looks at Spurnick, and she just kind of just doesn't regard him.
I think our standard watch cycle works.
I think you have first watch, is that right?
What it was specifically. I think
Me and Ronvin.
yours was last.
Yeah, me and Ronvin
Yeah.
Okay.
were first.
I think Calavera was with Gears at the end if we're doing our standard watch.
Rue and Fragile. And then now it's about 2 a.m., so you're going to just take shorter watches? Like, when do you want to kind of start your day in the morning?
Oh, we still need a full night's rest, so I
Yeah.
imagine we're gonna have to start later. We're just gonna have to sleep in.
Yeah, spaced out. I guess over a full long rest, we'll just hang out until like 11 or late morning.
So mechanically, funny to call that for a Warforge. Mechanically, Gears only needs 6 hours rest.
Okay.
It's called Sentry's Rest.
Yep.
So that'll be their thing. And at the end, like when we hit morning, they can basically start doing the work of sealing off the temple.
Okay.
Moving rocks up and filling the hole and packing it in. Doing basically the heavy lifting to get
Okay.
this the whole tomb sealed off there.
Okay. That's fair. All right. So, Al and Ronvin kind of set up. Do you have fire going or anything, or?
I can start a campfire with prestidigitation. So the second we get like a little thing going, just poof. Probably a small one, just for not so to be seen from too far away.
I can't wait until you use prestidigitation to move a bunch of heavy boulders over the hole that we need to bury. Because prestidigitation can do anything, right?
It would
Right.
be mage hand, but it has to be 10-pound rocks at a time. So I can pick up a bunch of just 10-pound rocks.
Yeah.
Hey, it adds up.
That's what I'm saying. It's better mage hand than me.
Okay. So you and Ronvin pass your time, a couple hours, and you're able to wake Rue and Fragile. And as you're moving about and getting, Ronvin and Algernon, I'm going to have you each make a perception. Rue and Fragile as well.
Oh.
Ronvin was a natural 1
Okay.
for a total of 6.
Ooh.
I got a 6 as well.
Rue was a natural 3 for a total of 8.
Okay. All right. So everybody just kind of, Fragile and Rue are kind of up, stretching, waking up, looking around, rubbing the very short sleep out of your eyes as Al and Ronvin just kind of fall into their bedroll and collapse. And you and Fragile sit quietly in the dark. It's cloudy, so you don't even have moon or stars. You just have the glow of your campfire, your very small campfire.
I wish Mike was here because I would love to have a conversation with Fragile, but I don't want to make you put words in her mouth. So we'll just save it.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just say Brew just it's pretty quiet and contemplative.
Yeah. Fragile wanders off out of the firelight just to the edge of it. She kind of nods and, she does this from time to time and just gets out in the dark. You can, occasionally as the fire crackles or pops, you may see a glimpse of her form, just sitting there quietly. And occasionally you hear her humming little snippets of a tune of some kind. She loves to sing. And so you hear that. So you presume maybe she's kind of connecting with her patron. I always want to say Patreon. And so you sit.
Subscriber to this.
And as you're sitting there, you hear the unmistakable sounds of booted feet crunching stone. And they kind of come from all directions. Roll me another perception, Rue.
That's much better. That is a 25. Sorry, 24. I can add.
Okay. Yeah, so you hear the, and it sounds like it's, there's an attempt at some stealth. It's not just shuffling, stomping, all of that. But you, I assume, probably spring to your feet. Your camp mates are quiet.
Yeah. Everybody up.
Fragile pops back into the firelight, and as you all stand, there are a number of shadowy human-looking humanoid-type figures surrounding your camp, all dressed in very dark cloaks. Some have chainmail, some have half plate, hooded. Everything is dark, very dark. And as you look around,
I assume we have not gotten a rest yet.
you have not. That would be too helpful. Spurnick awakes with a start. He's like, "Oh my God, they're here! Oh my God!" And he just gets quiet. And you're encircled. There's at least a dozen that you can see. And then you hear the familiar nicker and whinny of a couple of horses off in the direction of the road, but they're clearly right near you. And a figure kind of parts the circle of people and steps in. This figure is a little more slender and a little shorter, lithe. Black cloak, very dark cloak. Hood is up. You see little peaks of studded leather armor. You can see the ends of gauntlets, black leather gauntlets, leather gloved hands. You can see the pommel of a longsword sticking out, at the slight hip of this individual. The cloaks are all fairly similar. Again, you have a low fire, so there's some light, but it's hard to make out any real features. But as your eyes adjust and you see them, none of them say anything. But you can't really see the face of the smaller one that walked into your fire ring. But some of the folks have hoods down, and you can see very swarthy, unshaven male men, humans mostly, maybe a couple of half orcs, various statures. They look to be well armed. They look to be experienced. Scars and dirt and and like I said, you see a dozen or so as you're kind of rubbing the sleep from your eyes. And this person stops and kind of looks down. And the hood's kind of long, so it's hard to see their face. And they look around, and their gaze falls upon your captive. And you hear this kind of husky, dusky voice. Well, what have we here? A campout. It's a strange place. Kind of spooky, wouldn't you say? Rue, would you make a perception again? What are the rest of you doing?
That is 19.
Okay. They kind of rest their hand on the pommel of their sword and look around. The ranks have kind of closed back in behind this person. You're not sure there aren't more of them. Maybe too deep. You don't know. It's hard to tell. I say, what are we doing here? Anyone? Do you not speak?
I assume the others have woken up by this point.
Yeah, your party woke up and stood as the
Yeah, we're all up.
the group was kind of surrounding you. No weapons are drawn, but they're all heavily armed. You see swords, daggers, maces. This isn't the welcome wagon.
Ranged weapons.
You see some longbows on the backs of people, quivers of arrows. Yeah, they're armed.
Who are you?
They look down at you.
Insignias?
I don't know that you're exactly in the position to ask the questions. So I'll ask again. What are you doing here? Rue, you recognize this voice. It's like, what the hell? Do I know this person? Seems familiar.
Oh, really?
What are you doing here?
We are an official business of the Lord Mayor. Is that his title? Of Dagger Falls. We have apprehended this fugitive in the Lord's name.
You are a long, long way from Dagger Falls. Out here in the wilds by yourselves. Just the six of you. And a fugitive, you say?
A fugitive of our Lord. His reach is far and mighty, as you see.
A
by us being
gauntleted,
this
gloved
far out.
hand just kind of stops you, and you hear this guttural chuckle. Lord Carmeril cares nothing for the wilds. He's just far out away from Dagger Falls. He cares nothing, I can assure you. The only reason you are here is that your quarry brought you here.
Nonetheless, this is the business, Lord Cormier. We have been commanded to bring this fugitive back. Anything, and it's just going to trail off. This is futile.
The rest of you can roll perception as you're looking at this number of people.
Gears has an 18.
I got a 5.
Oh no.
I I guess that's my shit stat for the game. It's perception.
Al, how'd you do?
I got an 8.
Okay. Gears, you recognize a symbol hanging on the chest of a couple of these individuals. I will send it to you in the Discord as we chat.
Do I see this symbol?
You do not. Your attention has been captured.
Yeah.
Okay. So, your quarry brought you here. So I'm curious, did you succeed at your purpose?
We have apprehended the fugitive, and we get back to Dagger Falls so that he sees the proper justice.
She cocks her head. Justice for what?
For theft of our Lord's property, deception.
What theft of what property? What could this Sip have stolen from the Lord Cormero? And you could tell, if you could see their face, you could tell that their eyes just rolled heavily.
His lordship has a vast library which shows how much he values knowledge, and they stole items from our Lord's vast collection.
Wait. You chased this rat to the Dragonspine Mountains for books? Do you take me for a fool? Surely, you don't expect me. And they kind of look around at the stones, and they look in the direction of the pile of rubble. The sun, you could just get the first pink, glow at the horizon, and it's actually peeking through some of the crags between the mountains, because the mountains are to your east. You mean to tell me you chased this vermin all the way out here for books? I think there's more to the story. And they walk over. They walk over to Spurnick, and he's just like looking up, silent, and she grabs the ropes that are binding his wrists and pulls him to her and looks down at him very, he's not a big dude. This person's actually a little taller than him. She looks him in the eye.
I step aside.
What's that?
I step aside.
Okay. Yeah. This person seems to own the place. Their attitude, their presence is very much in charge. You notice the sword arms around her don't really respond much as she's talking. They're kind of scanning and looking, just making sure that maybe they aren't surprised if there were more of you. And they seem to be kind of enjoying the show. I think this one here, he will go with us. Yes, I think so. And they look around at the rest of the crew, and they kind of chuckle. Nobody really speaks, but kind of chuckle, nod in agreement. Have any of you anything to say about that?
I'm curious what the Zentarim's interest is here.
Of course you are. We have many interests in these parts. You're not so far from the Great Black Keep now, are you? We wouldn't want anything to happen to this little squeaker now, would we? But I think he'll be much more useful to us than he will to you and your lord. And his great reach.
Um, it would seem that we have no choice in this. But if you would not be here for nothing. I mean, there's nothing we could do.
Oh yeah.
Well, at least you're smart enough to know your own limitations. Besides, our business is our own,
Yeah.
much the same as your business is your own. And now we've relieved you of the burden of dragging this down the road. Because, you know, he does have friends. And I'm sure they'll be out looking for him when he doesn't return.
Wiley, sorry, my mind's racing. She hasn't said anything about the scale or anything that's down
No.
below, has she?
No, you've gotten no detail, speaking very purposefully, ambiguously. You know, Algernon asked them about, you know, or no, you asked about what business do the Zentarum have here, and they didn't deny or confirm Zentarum other than to say that the Zentarum have plenty of business in these parts.
Yeah, I was just gonna step aside and just there's nothing here.
Okay. Dave, did you get my message in Discord?
Yep.
Okay, just want to make sure. So then I think we're all seeing things clearly here, equally. I presume you all were about to be on your way. The sun is coming up, the beautiful sunrise. I think that's what they were doing. And she looks around at the collection of lovely souls encircling you. And they all kind of nod and smile.
I've heard stories about you, Luella. I might have some information you might be interested in.
The head cocks. I'm sorry? Information? What sort of information? And you noticed when you used that name, there was a little bit of a hitch, you know, like a... And then the dusky, sort of gravelly voice continues. What sort of information? You know, information can be helpful, especially out here away from civilization, so far from your lord and his reach.
Of course it's helpful. It's got to come with a price, though.
Well,
You give us back this piece of filth, and let him go along with my friends. And I promise you will be very interested in the information that I have for you.
here's how this will go. You should share with me your information, and then I'll decide if it's worth the trade. And I'll tell you what, if it's not worth the trade for this filth, as you so aptly put it, you know, and Spurnick's like, you know, every time one side or the other kind of insults him, he's like, you know, trying to play this, and he just finally... So then, what will it be? Your information may not be worth this little rat here, but I can assure you won't leave here empty-handed if it's anything of any use to me at all.
There's a certain creature that you had attempted to have killed back in Neverwinter, in the prisons of Neverwinter. I might know of his whereabouts.
I see. She throws back her hood. And you see this kind of stunning, almost like, golly, attractive, very fit, elven, but not fully elven. There's human features, higher cheekbones, more pronounced chin, but unmistakably pointed ears. Jet black. A little bit of a braid kind of swoops and then drops behind her back. And the cowl kind of falls open. You see the shine of the studded, beautiful black, hardened leather studded, armor. And right in the center of that armor is emblazoned. And the body of the symbol is actually in silver. You'll see it in a moment. It'll appear on stream. She's breathtaking. Darker complected than you might expect. For whatever reason. From another part of the Faerun. There are humans of all races and such. But if you had to guess, probably half elven. She kind of strokes. This is very interesting information indeed. You have me at a loss. You know who I am, yet I don't know who you are.
My name's Rue Shahar. Just a simple traveling merchant. I hear things from time to time.
She leans in close to you and kind of grits her teeth a little bit. If you are trifling with me, Rue Shahar, merchant. And she looks into your eyes like coldly, like, you know how that feeling when you get pulled over by a cop and the blood in your veins and your face turns to ice? You get that. She's just this close. Roll deception for me. If you trifle with
Natural
me,
freaking 20.
nice. If you trifle with me, Rue Shahar, merchant, and she kind of rolls her eyes. You will regret. You will regret this, yes. I will make your trade. And she shoves Spurnick back in your direction. Not to send him to the ground or anything, just like, she's crumpled up paper and throwing it away. So.
I will
perhaps
grab
we talk, you and me.
Spurnick.
Go ahead.
I will grab Spurnick and take him over to Calavera.
Yeah, I'll take him.
And I'll just say, then I'll look over to Gears and I'll say, get them out of here.
Wait, you're not saying that we're leaving without you.
Trust me, this is the way it's got to go down.
It'll probably take time for us to pack our camp up.
Gears.
Yes.
Get
We
them
will
out
go.
of here.
We'll start backing down and picking up our things, get the animals together.
The sword arms, the mercenaries, and now that again the sun is, you've been standing there, kind of having this very slow dance, this conversation, and the sun has been rising, and you can see more of these symbols on gauntlets, on cloaks, holy symbols. They're all dressed quite darkly, similarly, and they kind of move away to give you space to move around, and they open the circle in the direction of the road.
Cool.
All of this
As
mostly
we're going-
from a nod from her. She's just like, So go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, as we're going through this, Gears will do their very best to palm the 4 pieces of the key and pass by Rue and press them into his hand.
Well, these were pretty big, weren't they? I think they're too big for us to do
They weren't,
that.
they weren't giant.
Oh.
Yeah. Roll me a sleight of hand.
I don't think I would take them. I do not take them from Gears.
Okay.
Yeah. Roll me sleight of hand anyway.
Sleight of hand anyway.
Yep.
19.
Okay. She's studying Rue intently, his face, as you brush by him. And Calavera and Algernon, Ronvin, Frigili all, without turning their back on Rue or this Luala, or whoever she is, begin to quickly gather their gear. And she looks at the party. You will find your beasts on the way down to the trade road. They are unharmed. The sheep were tempting, but they are unharmed.
Gears will shepherd the rest of the flock down the way.
Okay.
So Rue, you've basically been given these things and you've just pressed them back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gears will put them away as subtly as possible.
Yeah, you can do that. You're kind of grabs, your gear, and they, the group realizes you're probably just a wee bit skittish, nervous, so you're a little fussy, and they don't give a shit about you, really. So you make your way down the trail, pick your way carefully back in the direction of the road. Are you just going to keep going?
I think after we go for a bit, Calavera is gonna stop everyone and be like, we can't just leave him behind like that. Like, we should wait, I suppose.
Yes.
I'm gonna summon my familiar Delphi and get him to kind of run through the brush and at least keep an eye on Rue,
Okay.
even if we're out of eyesight, line of sight.
Yeah.
Do I see this familiar?
Let me ask you this about Delphi. Delphus? Delphi.
Delphi.
Do you see through the cat's eyes, correct?
Yes.
And you hear through the cat's ears?
Yes.
How close are you sending the cat, and how close do you need to be to your familiar to keep that link of vision, visual, and audio? As the sun comes up, you realize there's, if anyone takes the time to count, there are 21 of these agents, these warriors, sword arm, thugs, whatever you want to call them, plus her.
It's 100 feet. As long as the familiar is within 100 feet of me. Communicate telepathically, see through its eyes, hear what it hears,
Okay. So how far away are you going to get? You're going to try to maintain so you can hear real time, or are you going to try and get a report back?
I would like to try to stay within real time. So however far the cat would have to be to hear or be as close without being noticed, probably, depending on where we are in the clearing of the circle.
Can you roll stealth for the kitty cat? Like, does it have a stat block?
Oh, this is how.
It does. It's just the regular cat stat block.
Okay. Rue, if you want to roll
Only thing it has is
perception.
advantage.
Well, this
What-
happens. I think Calavera looks at Gears and is like, we should probably split the keys up between all of our bags in case they decide to start looking in them.
Could you run that by me one
They
more time?
don't take all of them at once.
Can you say that again, please?
Calavera is suggesting that maybe we split up where the keys are so that if they do decide that they want to start searching us, they don't get it all in one go. Just to split up all four of them.
You all can do what you like. As far as that goes, you're going to amble your way down the trail. I'm assuming Al is going to try to stay within about 100 feet.
I think.
Yeah.
Which isn't
I think
terribly.
we have to be guiding him.
They aren't terribly far away. Like 100 feet is 30 yards. So, you're out in the open yet. There's rocks and stuff. You can try to hide, maybe try to conceal yourself. Stealth, if you want to do that. Otherwise, if you're just standing there, you'll be seen standing there nonchalantly.
Yeah, just mind my own business in the middle of the trail.
Right, for no apparent reason.
The cat rolled what? You wanted to...
Yeah, hit me with a stealth for the kitty cat first.
16 for the kitty cat.
Rue, roll perception.
I got an 8.
Okay. Yeah, you don't see the familiar. They stealthed really well. So, Al, are you going to break that 100 feet and keep going, or are you going to try to stealth yourself into some behind a rock?
I guess I'm going to wait and see for right now, depending on what I get back from the cat.
Okay.
Right now, my main concern is just that he's got eyes on Rue.
Okay. So Gears, Calavera, Ronvin, Fragili making their way down the trail. Maybe Al hangs back a little bit. Calavera and Gears, I'm going to have you take your headsets off. Al, if you're going to be close enough through the kitty cat, I'm going to leave yours on.
Okay.
So you hear some muffled tones. Maybe turn your volume down a little bit and make it harder for you to understand what I'm saying. That's as close as I can approximate. So, what do you know of this? Is this person in Neverwinter?
I know he escaped from the prison.
I see. When was this?
He killed your man. This was...
Her eyes kind of widen.
What was it? A couple weeks ago, Wiley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give or take.
I'll tell her. Yeah.
I see. Where did he... So he killed him. I see. Where did he go?
I believe he headed north out of Neverwinter.
He headed north. I see. A couple of weeks ago, yeah, you say. That's interesting. Yeah. How do I know you're telling me the truth?
What reason would I have to lie to you? I've told you details that not a lot of people would know.
I suppose you're right. I see. Well, I think this is a fair trade. So how did you come to know this person? Were you in the jail in Neverwinter also?
No, certainly not. I was coming into
Neverwinter to trade some wares, and he was on his way out.
Let's see. She kind of looks you over. Roll deception again.
That's a 7.
Okay. So how did you hear this escape? Did you have business at the jail? Do you have friends there? Just seems odd that
No, he told me.
oh, you ran into him.
Yes, I ran into him coming out of Neverwinter, and we made friends. We shared a meal together, and
Did you?
he got a little tipsy and got a little loose-lipped.
What did he say of me then? She looks at you kind of severely.
So what did she ask?
What did he say to you about me then?
He only mentioned you in passing, but I've heard many tales of the great Luella.
She rolls her eyes.
There are many schemes in many places.
No, you're too kind. If I'm doing my work very well, there would be no tales. She smiles and kind of pats her longsword. So he went north, you say? A couple of weeks ago.
He did.
Well, you've made yourself a friend today, Mr. Merchant. I'll tell you what I'll do. She pulls it. She has this fine gold chain inside of her leather armor. She pulls something. She's got something in her hand and snaps it off the chain, presses it into your palm. I'll give this to you to make him in handy.
What is it?
If you look at it, it's a little gold holy symbol. Well, holy symbol, faction symbol of the Zentarum. Like a badge. It's solid, flat, thin, almost like a coin, and it has the embossed, raised, three-dimensional symbol. And on the back, if you turn it over, there are some runes on the back. I believe you know Thieves' Cant, do you not?
Yes.
Make me a intelligence check at advantage.
Natural 20 in the first roll.
We'll go with that.
22.
Yeah. You recognize this Thieves' Cant right away. It's the initials LB for Luala Blackhand. But it's written in Thieves' Cant. This would get you a favor from the faction, from the Black Network, should you need one. Yes.
Now this kid, I mean, he seemed like maybe you owed him a favor too, and how you were trying to kill him in dark prison cell. So, what? Why should I trust that this favor is worth anything? How do I know this isn't something? What were you trying to kill him for?
Just you never mind that. My business is my own. But you've been very helpful.
You seem like a nice guy.
Oh, wonderful. Very nice guy. Well, you should be off with your friends before they worry.
Fair enough. And I will start making my way back toward my friends.
Al's going to recall Delphi.
Okay.
And try to make it seem like he wasn't kind of eavesdropping on what was going on.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. So I'm going to rearrange the cameras because Fragile has joined us. You guys can put your ears back on.
Hey, man.
Hey, Fragile, what's up?
Oh, ready to do whatever we're doing.
Okay, we're doing stuff. I'm gonna. I just need to kind of reset the cameras, so I'm gonna let the party RP a little bit to reconnoiter with one another. Yeah, we can take a break. I've still got to do the cameras, and everybody will see me doing it because I got to have the overlay up. So why don't you all RP? Rue returning to the party.
So I walk back, and you all. Sorry, were you all hidden?
I would.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I don't think they have. I don't think Calavera has her ears back on.
Hey, Dave. Somebody, anybody.
Yeah.
I got it.
He's waiting on Zoom chat. I'm like
Oh,
pointing my ears.
do we get to play the game now? Are we allowed to play the game?
Sorry.
That's fine. We're having our own conversation off on the
Calavera,
side.
Calavera, you may take your headset back off. The rest of you see Calavera slump to the ground as an arrow with this viscous dark liquid dripping from it. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, not again.
Mess with the dungeon master, you silly, silly person. So you see Rue coming down the trail, picking his way towards you.
So down the trail, so we're outside?
Yes, you're outside the Temple of the Scale. You were camping for the night. We'll retcon the other stuff later. Suffice to say, you're all alive. You're outside. And the camp was surrounded by what turned out to be a large group of Zentarum, heavily armed, led by a rather striking female. Looked to be some sort of half-elven, a little bit darker complected, jet black hair, high cheekbones. You could clearly see the human lineage in her. And she and Rue had a conversation. She tried to take Spurnick, and Rue traded information for Spurnick. So he gave her information, and she gave Spurnick back to the group. The group was sent down the trail so she and Rue could speak. And that's where you are. So you all may roleplay. I'm going to message for Geely and bring them up to speed on a couple of key pieces while you all roleplay.
Okay, so I'm coming back towards the group. Were you all hidden? I can't remember.
We were moving down the road there.
Meandering.
Okay.
Not taking our time, sort of dragging a little bit to make sure that you were gonna show up eventually.
Yeah. So I catch up with you, and I imagine it is very obvious to you that I am not okay. Like I am just about to collapse in fear. But I think I say nothing.
Are they going to be coming down after us? Coming down this way?
I don't think so. Al, I hand you this gold, this medallion with the Zentarum symbol on it. Is this? Can they track this? That she gave this to me. Is there some magical juju on it?
I may cast Identify. It may need a couple of moments, but beyond that, that is all that I can. Yeah, that is all I may do to help you. Hopefully, it will be enough.
Well, we should walk in the meantime.
If you want, I might be able to see if it has magic on it while we walk. I'm very much up for walking.
Yeah, if you can do it while walking, I would have to remain still and cast a ritual and get everything set up. So moving is better.
Okay. Then, as we start walking down the way, Gallivera is gonna cast Detect Magic, which senses the presence of magic within 30 feet of me.
Okay. So anything that's magical will give off this radiant, kind of glow, or maybe you sense a vibration. I'm not sure. Like, how does detect magic manifest for you, Calavera? How do you know you're seeing something magical?
I think it's kind of like I think for Calavera, like a lot of her magic, it ends up being kind of an instinctual sort of thing where, like, you know that feeling when you know, like, maybe there's something like right here and you can feel that it's there even though you're not looking at it. It's like out of your like uh like sight line, like you know something's there, and so like that like kind of feeling that you get on the back of your neck. I think she gets it where she gets that feeling where like the different magic is like where the objects are like based on like where they are around her, and then when she goes to look at them, that's when she can kind of see this aura of color around it. And if she focuses on that, she can get a feeling for what this school of magic is.
Okay. So, and you did detect magic, wanting to know what this medallion was that Rue showed you. Yeah, it does not vibrate. It does not indicate any school of magic. Nothing. It just looks like a beautifully gold forged, symbol of the Zentarum with these weird runes on the back.
Okay. And I think she holds the spell for just kind of a moment longer, just kind of curious to see if there's like anything else that pings. I know that some of the like items we're carrying around now are enchanted, so she kind of just like takes notes of the little pings there because this is something new that she's doing.
Okay.
And then she just kind of slowly nods. She goes, "It doesn't seem to have any magic on it."
Out of curiosity, does she get a ping from the keys?
You would get like School of Enchantment.
Okay.
Yeah, those keys are enchanted.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And just to check, did we get a long rest?
No.
Okay. Check for the sake of my slot. But no, it seems to be just a coin.
Al's gonna kind of hang back with Rue. Just Rue's been very cool to him, so he wants to. That's why he looked out for him. I would just like to make sure that you are okay, my friend. They seem to be not to be trifled with, and yet here you are, still alive with our query in our possession.
That is a bad woman. Fortunately, I talked to a lot of people in my business, and I had information that sated her for the time being. That went much better than I expected it to.
He's gonna give a kind of sympathetic nod, that he feels satisfied that he got the answer that he wanted, and then he's going to say to him quietly, "You and I may have more in common than we believe," and he's just gonna kind of go kind of merge back with the rest of the group.
About a half mile from the camp, as you make your way down that trail, you do come across Clover.
Yay!
And the sheep. And they are unharmed, just kind of milling about as a mule and some sheep might do when they're just hanging around out in the foothills of the Dragonspine Mountains.
I think when we get to that point, Rue is going to just find a nearby tree or whatever they were tied to and just sit down.
Jilly is really quiet. And she's mumbles some stuff. She's going to be hanging out with Clover for a bit, having a conversation with her. May not be in the same language every time. But she's going to be having a quiet conversation with the donkey.
What are the rest of you doing? It's still quite early. You've only been away from this little welcoming party for maybe an hour. You're confident that you're getting close to the trade road that runs, east and west. That would be your way back to Dagger Falls.
Looking back though, is there any indication that they might start coming down the way that we're going?
Yeah, go ahead and roll perception.
That is a 7.
Yeah, so you're confident. You don't see anybody coming down the trail behind you. You don't really hear the sound of anything. You did, as you were leaving before you got to your animals, you did see a bunch of horses tied, staked into the ground so that they didn't wander off. Obviously, it was their contingent of transportation.
Okay. I think since we're just kind of taking a moment to sit down, Gallivere is gonna find a spot to set up a little fire so she can we can put together something for food before we really head off. Just to do something.
Easy work.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's also keeping an eye on Spurnick to make sure that, he is more or less fine and not being harassed.
Yeah. He's quiet. He's forlorn. He's not speaking much. He's not putting up a fuss. If you start heading down the trail, he goes peacefully with you. He's made no attempt to get away. He's kind of he's not catatonic, but he's just clearly lost in thought. Got that 1,000-mile gaze. And just generally not real upbeat.
I'm going to walk over to him very non-threateningly, because he's got enough problems. What does she want with you? I'm going to ask him, referring to the Zentaran lady.
I don't know. Probably wanted to know what I want to know. Or, excuse me, what I know. Probably wanted to torture me or something. Who knows?
Our friend paid a big cost for your freedom. You are not nobody.
Well, I'll feel a lot better if you just get me back to Dagger Falls safely. If you're not going to let me go. Because, they're going to kill me. I failed. He kind of, his eyes well up again, and he just kind of looks down.
In Draconic, I'm going to ask him, If you tell me to let you go right now, I will. In Draconic to see if there's like a glint of recognition that he understood what I said.
He looks up and nods at you right away. He kind of looks at the others, trying to be all cool.
Wait here. And he's tied up in some kind of way, right?
Yeah, he's got
Like, at least
wrists. I don't know. You can, if you want to decide now how you have him tied. Obviously, he's got to be able to walk. So I would assume that his ankles are not bound. He's been walking along with you.
I'm gonna kind of huddle everybody up, except Spurnick, to have kind of a little group meeting. He is not who he says he is. This is bigger than him. I am beginning to fear that we are not taking him to anybody who could really do something with whatever he knows.
And then what is it that you're suggesting that we do? And what do you mean by he is not who he says he is?
He is not a simple scribe. The attention from the Zentarum, the fact that he speaks Draconic, and that I would imagine Rue paid quite the price for his freedom, makes him more valuable than a book thief and a murderer in Dagger Falls.
I don't know that the Zentarum necessarily knew anything about what he was here for.
Because they didn't ask any details about that. I think he was just interesting because he was tied up on the ground. And also, you said that he can speak Draconic?
I offered to free him in Draconic, and he responded.
Well,
I believe him to be of some education more than he leads on.
well, yes, he was a scribe. And also, wasn't it that he is in the cult of the dragon? It makes sense that they could speak Draconic.
Perhaps.
Do you all believe that he deserves to die?
Yes.
For what? For what exactly?
For stealing the book and being a part of what led to the murder of the guard. But I also think it's not your choice. We were hired and we agreed to bring him back for justice.
And what
And
of
so
the
now
rest-
your guys are deciding that you are the people who are going to decide his guilt or innocence. I no, I can't agree with that.
It is not our place to decide what happens to him. We are bounty hunters. For whatever it says, we are bounty hunters. We have found him, and we will return him to whoever hired us. And leave it to them.
I'm not debating letting him go. I agree 100% we should take him back to Dagger Falls. I'm asking a more philosophical question. Do you think his theft and his partner's murder of a guard warrants his hanging?
It is not my place.
I'm asking your thoughts, not for a judgment.
And he didn't kill anybody, right? That part of the story is true.
Yeah. As far as we know.
Okay.
Yeah, everything you've been told by Lord Cormeril and the folks in Dagger Falls is that Tybeam, pulled a dagger when the guards tried to stop them and ended up killing one of the guards, and Spurnick
Or it
escaped.
just took.
But
just
he
took
did
off.
not draw a weapon. He did not stab. He did not. Right. And nothing has been said as far as, Lord Carmeril did not, say that he's already passed sentence and this guy's getting executed. He just needs him brought back to face justice, and any other, if there's anything else that might have been stolen, he's hoping to recover it, and we'll pay you what you all agreed to, and if you find anything else, he'll probably pay you for that too, as far as returning anything of value that had been stolen.
Yeah, bring it back.
And what,
Nice.
what say you, Calavera and Gears? This man was in Neverwinter. I can tell you he would not have been executed for his crimes.
I think he would do better for the world if he were still alive. But also, I think you all put more of a weight upon death than I do. But I suppose I understand it is a different way of looking at things. But I think better alive than not. Well, there's more he can do. That does not mean we do not bring him back. But
Certainly. Gears?
It's foolish to believe he can control a dragon.
he is.
That is not necessarily reason to die, nor is theft of a book. However, I am concerned that the level of fanaticism they are showing is disturbing.
I think that his sense of self-preservation is stronger.
Were he released, he
But perhaps if we bring him back, he might decide that he would not want to risk going back to the cult who may kill him and may instead sell them out to try to get protection. It is a possibility.
he seems quite tied to this cult.
He seems pretty tied to being alive.
Most fleshborn are.
So it seems.
I think at some point we will need to return to seal this structure. The Black Network must not know what is there. We need to move. We need to get away from here before they change their minds as to our disposition. There are too many for us to terminate at this point.
That I agree with.
Saru, you seem perturbed. I hope you did not have to sacrifice overly for our freedom.
So do I, my friend. So do I.
And Gears just starts packing things up on our pack animals, shushing the sheep along to sort of get them in line and start tying them off so that we can start moving.
Okay.
If Spurnick shows an indication to drag or lag at all or try to fall behind, just tie him up and put him on the donkey as well.
He is compliant, although he does, if you're watching him, Gears, you notice he's eyeballing Algernon a little bit.
That's fine.
Not in a menacing way, more of like a wait and see. It's like he's expectant.
No, this is Al's lie to deal with.
And slow him down if he takes off.
Al was crossing his fingers behind his back.
Stick a needle in my eye.
Yeah. I'm keeping a close eye on Spurnick as well.
Eye on the prize. So we still have the books. We have Spurnick. We have the keys. And we're hauling ass. I'd almost say we might want to spend a great deal of time on the move.
Maybe that sounds like a good idea.
Have you been? So you were kind of talking around the animals. You weren't actually moving while you had this conversation, right?
No.
Okay. So you're back on the move
We
again
were-
now. Okay.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully Rue has recovered his composure.
If you suggest that we should move again, then he will very wearily get up.
So Gears will take the lead, and the rest can follow. And let's keep an eye on the back. Who's got a decent perception to keep an eye on the back? I really don't feel comfortable having the Black Network at our back.
Not me.
I will keep an eye out.
Okay.
I think we're all probably looking around. I mean, Galavera's looking. She's just not good at it. She's feeling jumpy.
We all are. We all are.
I got a 20 on perception. Sorry,
Jumpy.
Wiley. I jumped the gun and rolled before you told me to. But
What are you all jumpy about? Just playing some D&D. Come on. So you make your way down this trail, and you've got to kind of go single file. If you recall, it's almost as tough to pick out as a excuse me, as a game trail might be. Between rocks, between hillocks, through some wooded areas. But you managed to recount your way back down, and you would say, Rue, in the couple of times that you've looked around, when you're out in a little bit more open country, not in between hills, not surrounded by stone or any hills or anything, trees, you would see three dark individuals on horseback, probably quarter mile off to one side and not, to behind you and way off to the side. And then you wouldn't see them again. They don't ever appear to come any closer. If you had to guess, they're just watching. If you also had to guess, they're probably from the group that you left behind. And that's what you see as you make your way down to the trade road.
I will give the others a heads up. Looks like we got 3 following us.
Gears will pick up the pace to a reasonable level that pushes everyone to a bit of their limits.
Okay. They're on the east side of the trail, closer to the mountains. One last time, as you get down out of the hills and to the trade road, and you begin to make the right, you kind of take your right turn. I presume you're headed back to Dagger Falls.
Oh, yeah.
And if memory serves, we've got about 4 days travel
That.
to get back there. So you make the right turn onto the trail, and you're maybe 100 yards on the trail. And, if you look back again, Rue, you see the 3 figures on the horsebacks, on the backs of horses, break the kind of the tree line down out of the hills and stop and watch. As you make your way westward, it's easily midday, and they don't come any further. And you're able to make your way. And after a period of time, you don't see them. They're just a speck on the horizon. As your little trade road winds its way westward. You would know if they were following, because if you recall, the trade road was kind of in grasslands mostly, a few little clumps of rock or hill, but it's pretty wide open. There's a few stands of trees here and there, but there's no way, unless they're very, very short, they would be able to conceal themselves. And they're on horseback. They're very dark against the summer day. So you're confident that if they were following after you, you would see them very easily.
Cool. So we're going to push a decent pace.
Okay.
Move as much as we can on what's left of the day.
Yeah. Are you, Rue, are you still going to be perceptioning as we go?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure you don't want to.
Sure you don't want to stop looking out for danger? Because that would be cool if you did that.
At some point here, we're going to take a point of exhaustion, right? Because we're
You're
up all
tired,
night.
yeah. You're tired. Like if you don't get some long rest, like if you were to spend another evening up, you would have a point of exhaustion the following day. Yep. For
Because
sure.
by now it's like 6, 7 in the morning.
Yeah, no, it's midday. Yeah,
Oh,
like
midday, sorry.
it was probably 11 p.m. when you came upon the Circle of Stones, and you spent probably about 3 hours knocking around the temple, dealing with things in there, and then you had not a long encounter with the Azents, and a few conversations, and the sun was kind of coming up as you were with the Zentarum.
Did you want me to roll again?
Yeah, go ahead and we'll do kind of a periodic perception.
Okay. But it's not at disadvantage yet?
Okay.
But I am tired. So that's only a 7.
Okay. Yeah, you're cruising along. It's a sunny, beautiful summer day. It's warm. It's warm. You notice a difference in the air. It's more humid. Again, you're going to be coming back closer to that river, the Tesh River. As you make your way westward, the road will run along closer to the river, or maybe the river comes up to the road. Who knows? Yeah.
I would imagine that, like I said, we probably be starting to look for just to pull off and get not only our full rest, but just kind of before we make anything any worse for having been up since, like you said, like 2 in the morning. Some people didn't get to sleep at all before we got bounced. Yeah, like Al hasn't slept yet.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are feeling pretty much like you had an all-nighter. Because you had long rest the evening before, so you're only down an evening's sleep, so you're not, hanging in tatters and shreds, but you're definitely tired. Maybe adrenaline's still kind of coursing based on the events running across those horrific creatures down in the depths of the Temple of the Scale, and then being kind of surprised by that, that legion of the Dark Network. And nobody felt comfortable under the gaze of this Luala. It's like she looked right through you. And you could tell that she was no stranger to a blade. So it's been a trying day, but you're able to travel, and it's a pretty uneventful trip as you head west. So I would say you're probably coming up on dinner time at this point. The Spurnick guy has hardly said a word. A couple times he's tried to get close to Al and just kind of look at him. Al, if you want to maybe roll insight just to see if you can figure out as he looks at you.
Oh no. 7.
Yeah. You're like, man, dude keeps looking at me.
Do you think I'm hot? That's my note.
We all think he's like that.
You
Do
think
you
I'm
like
cute?
me?
Check yes or no.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
What's in Draconic?
Please give this to Spurnick.
Yeah, he just seems really expectant, like now? Is it now? Probably tonight, right?
You made this line too.
Like, probably Probably after
I've
dinner.
told several lies I've made today, so
Yeah.
sure, this one
like-
seems this one's the one with the least consequence.
I mean, his face lit up, man. And if you anybody a dog owner,
Yeah.
how many of your animals? How many of you have dogs that know the word treat or cookie? You know how the dog knows.
A walk.
Yeah.
Outside.
Yeah.
I just offered to take Spernick for a walk, and now he's standing by the back door, just waiting for me
Yeah.
every time I get
And
up.
he's doing his level best to not let the others, like you guys have a secret or something. That's what he's thinking.
Oh, Al, you're gonna break his heart.
Look, man,
And so yeah, you get in.
Promise not to be
it's
cruel
hey,
to
it's
him.
better. It's better than what would have happened if Rue hadn't done something. Like, seriously, bro. Like, I'm sorry your feelings are hurt, but let's be real. It could have been way worse. Like, way worse.
You're getting into the early evening hours, probably supper time. Shadows are starting to lengthen. Go ahead.
Yeah, as we're going along, I think Calaver is gonna try to keep a lookout for somewhere we can stop for the night that's kind of hidden from the main path a little bit.
Mhm.
That feels like a good idea.
Yeah, you could even. I think there was when you had camped before, you were kind of looking for a high spot. If you could find a higher point, like a hill in the trees, a little bit off the road, you could seek out some of the places where you've camped. And just reuse those sites.
Yeah, can
if
we
you wish
find
to
one
do
of
that,
those?
yeah, no
Yeah.
problem. Yeah,
Is it maybe not the one where we encountered the giant spiders?
yeah. That first one, yeah, you might want to. Maybe if you see
How
spider
far
webs.
away?
Rue, hit me with another perceptione, please. As you're, scanning the horizon, looking across the grasslands.
13.
13. You do notice an odd. There's like as you're, all thinking, your stomachs are starting to think maybe you cut your throats. You're starving, and even now the donkey's starting to look good. And you spy this little shine in the road up ahead. Just a little, like the sun glinting off of something laying in the road.
There's something in the road ahead.
Something like a thing or something like a someone?
I don't know. I think it's a thing. There's something glinting off the sun, right? I kind of point.
Oh, can we see what it is?
Al's
No.
going to go ahead and send out a mage hand to, like, carefully, like, pick it up.
Well, how far away is this thing?
Just
Yeah.
on up this, it's not like miles ahead. It's just ahead
Okay.
just ahead of you, in the dust of the road. So you're gonna send your mage hand out to pick it up.
Yeah. I got to get up to 30 feet away from it, so it's
Yeah.
not like it's from down the street.
Yeah. Okay. So what does your mage hand look like? I'm kind of curious.
It's just this kind of spectral hand, about to like the mid wrist, with like what would be a continued sleeve of like a wizard, where it's not just a hand; it's got like part of a cuff of a wizard's robe sleeve.
Okay.
And it's just going to kind of go out, I guess, depending on what I can see from the 30 feet away, I guess is what how I'm.
Yeah, all you see is the gleam of something reflective, and it's like you see it and then it's gone. It's not like the size of a trash can lid or anything like that. It's pretty small, but it's definitely something that's catching the sun.
So I guess just going to kind of brush off the area to see if it's something big, like buried underneath, or if it's just
Okay.
like something
Yeah,
small.
again, as your hand kind of fumbles around, it's kind of like you're trying to do surgery from 30 feet away. You don't really know what you're messing with. You can't really see. It's small enough that you can't really tell what you're fussing with from 30 feet away.
So it's like the hamburger helper hand. It's just not
Yeah.
very,
Yes.
like got it.
Yes, it is. Yeah, this is.
So basically, somebody has to touch this.
It's far too small an item to fuss with at that distance to even see for sure if you've got it. If you were to grab it.
All right, Al's going to dismiss the mage hand in frustration, and kind of look quizzically, no offense, at Gears, see if he wants to go pick it up.
Send in the bomb squad.
Gears will amble forward.
You see a short little fellow in red robes with a little staff, and he's got this gray hair going down both sides, and he's bald. Come closer, yes. No, I'm just kidding. Remember Dungeon Master? Yeah.
I was going to say I pop him on the top of the head.
Yeah. So you make your way up there, and you look down as you get to where this item probably is, and you see laying in the dust of the road a bit of silver that's probably maybe 1.5 inches round, and it's laying there, and you see once again the symbol that's on the overlay is embossed. Looks like it's been forged like a larger coin, a larger medallion than the one Rue showed the group. And it's laying in the road. The head of the snake is pointed east. The tail is pointed in the direction you're going. And it's just laying there in the road.
Look around. Is there any signs of a person having been around this or dragged away or anything like that?
Okay. Roll investigation. It hasn't rained since the first couple days of your trip. If you remember, you started off on this trip, man, it was pretty wet and miserable, but it's been dry, and the road is dusty. There are hoof prints. There's some booted footprints. What did you get on your investigation?
14.
Yeah, that's kind of what you're making out. Doesn't look like anything has been drug off. There's nothing scratched in the dirt around it. It looks like it's just laying in the road.
I don't know, is there any, do I see anyone on the sides of the road or anything like that? Bodies, people? No?
No.
Is this a medallion or a coin? Is there a lanyard or something that it's attached to, or is it just a coin?
It just looks like a round piece of silver that's been stamped or forged with the 3-dimensional symbol of the Zentarum.
I'll prod it with my glaive. See if there's anything underneath it. Flip it over.
Okay. Nothing. Just the road.
Okay. Gears will reach down and pick it up. Move back to the group. Hand it to Rue. More of your friends.
They're not my friends. Would I know why this might be here?
Check your zoom. Yeah, you recognize that as a larger version of what you were given by Luala. Okay. And as you look at it and you think about it, you're thinking there may be something to it.
Gears, how was this line in the road?
The tail was pointing in the direction we were going. No signs of struggle, but I am not the best survivalist.
Huh. Seems strange to me. I don't know why they would have left it there.
Oh, did I lose somebody? Oh, Manny must have
Looks
pooped
like
again.
Manny dropped
Yeah,
out.
he'll be back.
We should continue moving.
Agreed.
Gears will resume the lead, moving down the road.
Are we leaving that coin where it was?
Rue has it in his hands.
So you're gonna keep rolling. Welcome back, Manny.
Sorry, you guys.
Oh, that's okay, man.
Let's keep moving.
Sweat it.
Yeah, we're gonna keep rolling.
Just gonna move some people around. So you're gonna basically then are you gonna move down the road, or are you gonna try to, because you were about ready to make camp, if memory serves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say we make camp.
Yeah. Calavera's been on the lookout for a good spot.
Yeah, you're not too far, as we were saying earlier. You're not too far from a raised, an elevated area where you could see down toward the road. You would be getting off the road to the north side of the road, which would be your right, and you'd be several hundred yards off and kind of up in some trees, and you
Yeah,
would be
I
able
think-
to defend yourselves well there.
Yeah, I think she'll start moving people that way.
Okay. All right. So you don't have any trouble getting your sheep and your prisoner and your mule and your gear and your people up the hill. Shadows are long. It's a knobby, rocky outcropping above the grasslands, like you've seen here and there. Again, you're starting to leave the foothills of the Dragon Spine Mountains. The blue jays are in the pine trees, squawking and croaking as you come up there and kind of disturb their quiet little grove. And you realize that, yeah, boy, we were camped here. I guess it would have been night before last. In fact, the last time you slept was here. And I think that would be a good spot to hit park and stop for the night. Wouldn't you say?
Good.
Okay.
That happens.
All right. Well, let's do some quick outros. I hope everybody had a good time tonight. Got a little nervous, a little tension. No Tiamat. That's good. Yeah. But maybe
Yeah,
one of her
we're out there.
skills. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go around the horn here. Let's get an intro and an outro from Fragile, since you were unable to introduce yourself earlier.
Oh, well, I am Fragile Gemkasi. I am a warlock. My patron and my goddess is the Raven Queen. And I'm kind of flighty, kind of a little spastic sometimes. And so my character, I don't know, my character's trying to dig through all of the different nuances of life and experiencing them. My quietness during this hour was actually part of her experiencing part of that. So hopefully we can continue that journey next week, because that's kind of what I want to do with this character is have her and me kind of explore and maybe grow a little bit. In real life, I teach and I run a homebrew game set in the Cormyr area of the Forgotten Realms. It's a 5e setting. We're up in 13th, 14th level. We've been playing for quite a while now, and I really enjoy the group. And then on social media, I am Buckethead or Buckethead Clunk, depending on where you look. And most of my stuff is D&D related or a little political sometimes. Not gonna lie.
All right, man. Very good. Gears.
Dave Hay Wilson on most of the social medias. By profession, I am an IT consultant working in document management, second most boring profession in the world. And I play this one stream. I play a couple of other D&D games. Really enjoyed the role playing, and I've really enjoyed tonight's session. It was very tense. Thank you, Wiley. And that's it. It's good for me, man.
Good. Algernon.
Hi, I'm Manny at Growed Up Geeks on the social media. I run a 1 year plus home game combination of Dragon Heist and Storm King's Thunder. And coming in January, I will be starting a stream where I will dungeon master and host a Rhyme of the Frost Maiden campaign.
Nice.
I'm really excited. I'm really excited about that. That'll be coming in January. So
Cool, man.
stay tuned.
Awesome. Good luck. Yeah, make sure you let us know about that. We'll promote you and throw the word out there and get you some fans and some bits and stuff, man.
Yay.
All right, awesome. Rue.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrew. I played Rouge Shahar tonight. I'm also known as Fellowship of the Tables on Twitter and Fellowship OTT. Active in the Open for Adventure community, where I'm running an offline game of Storm King's Thunder, which is a lot of fun. We just got started with that. But yeah, everyone make sure you go out and vote tomorrow and stay safe, stay well. Looking forward to, we're off next week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do some fun tonight.
I have a conflict. All right, very good. Calavera, last but not least.
Hi, I'm Paige. I am Keyline Cutie Pie on Twitter. In real life, I work as a lab scientist testing different pharmaceutical and research materials. When I'm not doing that, I have a bunch of different home games I'm either a part of, or I have like one or two that I'm running. I know I have a Curse of Straw game that's currently on pause, but I am slowly constructing devious things to throw at my players because they keep killing everything else I have.
That's not cool.
It's a party of all divine characters.
Oh, boy.
In an undead
Oh.
campaign.
In Barovia. Yeah.
I'm struggling.
Nice.
But yeah, other than that, I just look forward to being able to come and play this game because you guys all have some really fun characters, and I got to miss out on whatever juicy backstory stuff was happening over there. But you all didn't, and it was probably a
It was
lot of
nothing.
fun.
We just exchanged recipes. It was
Yeah.
weird.
Oh,
It's no big deal.
secrets and tier recipes.
She wanted a recipe for the cupcakes.
Right, the cupcakes.
Oh,
Yes, that's
yeah.
it.
Very important information
Yes.
worth several lives.
Nice. All right.
Great cupcakes.
And I am your host and Dungeon Master, Wiley Hobbit, also known as Scott. I posted our Discord link in chat a while ago. So, if you're not a member of the Discord, please jump in there. Great community, fun, safe place to do TTRPGs. Super excited to be a Jasper Game Day ambassador. Got my Jasper shirt on. We're going to raid into another ambassador, but keep your eyes peeled. It's an organization that supports and fundraises to help end teen suicide and suicide amongst our military. So information is in the chat, but keep your eyes peeled. We'll be doing some fundraiser games and stuff later in the year. So yeah, very, very proud to be supporting Jasper's Game Day. And we are going to raid into my friend Jake. They are running, I think this is their Waterdeep Dragon Heist, All the Glitters game. And so that raid will be launching shortly. So make sure when we go that you get in there and scream and shout and say things to them and all that stuff. So I'd like to thank everybody for hanging out. And we'll be back here Wednesday night at 7 and Sunday at 1. So thanks for hanging out. And hopefully we're going to raid here shortly.
Hi, y'all.
Thanks, everyone.
Oh, Twitch doesn't seem to want to raid, so I'm just going to go slip it to the break screen or the end screen, and we'll get out of here. Thanks for hanging out. See you next time.